What's going on, guys? I'm Ryan. Today I'm here with my partner, Jacob. Welcome to the Fantasy Forum, our very first episode. I'm excited. Today we're just going to be doing a mock draft. If you haven't done it before, Fantasy Pros has a called Draft Wizard. You can practice mock drafts. I know it's early, so it's subject to change, but we're excited. We're going to bring you kind of our strategies behind our picks for everything. Today we're going to be going through the 10 spot. So we're doing a typical full PPR league. One quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, one tight end, and then a flex, which could be a wide receiver, running back, or tight end. And like I said, drafting from the 10, so let's get right into it. So a lot of this stuff is obviously going to change because it's only May, but right now we're just going to go at what Fantasy Pros has the current ranking. Alright, so we're seeing the typical people that we expect to go in the first 9.
Oh wow, Derrick Henry.
We'll pull over to the draft board so we can see it. Alright, so CMC, Zeke, which is kind of surprising for Saquon. Michael Thomas at 3. Saquon goes at 4. Dalvin 5. Derrick Henry 6. Kamara 7. Aaron Jones 8. Devontae's not taken till 9. Wow. Okay, so the 10 spot, what I would typically, unless somehow another like running back, like I like Joe Mixon here, but if Devontae fell to me at 10, I feel like I would go Devontae. But for here, I would say Mixon's available, so I would probably go Mixon here.
I would definitely agree with that assessment. If Devontae was there, that would have been a humongous steal. But with the positions or the people left at this price, I would definitely probably say Mixon.
So we'll hop over the cheat sheet. We're gonna hide the drafted players just so we can know who's available. Like, for running backs at 10, like the only running back that I would take left is Joe Mixon. I think after him right now, that goes and dips into a lower tier. Wide receivers, if I can't get Devontae, I don't want D Hop here necessarily. Julio Jones maybe, but I would rather go running back. I feel like I'd be getting more value. You agree?
Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, so we're gonna go Joe Mixon here at 10. Yeah, I like Joe Mixon. Bengals offense revamped. I trust Burrow, so
He's a guy we know is gonna get guaranteed opportunity, and it's gonna be a surplus of it at the.
his only issue, I guess, not an issue, was just contract holdout, but I don't see that coming into fruition. You don't
And
know?
I don't think that'll actually amount to anything. Probably no, but will it be a thing that's going to be an issue come around draft day? I think it will, just because.
It's like that Melvin Gordon situation.
Yeah, it's like Melvin Gordon, Zeke. Even though I mean Melvin Gordon obviously held out, which was foolish of him, but Zeke's held out, went perfect for him and for fantasy owners, except that he didn't get as much work week 1, but it was fine.
Yeah.
But with Joe Mixon, they have I don't know. From what I read, it sounded like he's not their biggest priority, but they want to sign him. So I just feel like come draft day, when things are going, it's going to be one of those things that's up in air. So it may be a risky pick, but I think he'll get signed. So I'm not too worried.
All right, so we got pick 15. After Mixon, we saw Chubb, Eckler go. D Hop went 13, Tyreek Hill 14. So here,
Wow.
let's go to the cheat sheet.
10 running backs in the first round.
Yeah, running backs. I would say our best bet here would be Drake or Miles Sanders, not Jacobs, because this is a full PPR league. So I think it's definitely between Drake and Miles if we're gonna go running back, which I would probably do because I like to get my running back values early stockpile because there's so much depth in receiver. Yeah, so for me, I would probably go Kenyon Drake, but I know this guy's high on Miles Sanders. I want to hear your input.
I too am a guy that likes to get heavy on running backs early on just because they're at a position that's not as deep, so having the great ones is huge. But the fact that Julio and Chris Godwin are still
Yeah.
around at this late of a pick is kind of like one of those things that like, can you really just pass it up? So it's really at this point just a matter of if you are that sold on getting running back over wide receiver, because I think that Chris Godwin should outplay all of these running backs here. Not to say Julio won't. Julio's just missed a game here or there for the past like couple seasons. Though he had a full healthy season last year, I believe, though, actually. All right. But he's a guy that still just doesn't get as many touchdowns, and I don't know. Julio, yeah, no. I think if it's running backs, I'm Miles Sanders all the way. I love Miles Sanders, and definitely more than Kenyon Drake. The only thing that could possibly change this, which
Carlos Hyde.
yeah, Carlos Hyde, and but even with Carlos Hyde, I think that Miles Sanders is still just going to get a great amount of work in the rushing game. It's not going to be workhorse horse role, but what he will lack in the rushing game, I think he'll more than make up in the receiving game. I think he's going to be a huge contributor in that end.
Yeah. So, like you said, Julio and Chris Godwin here, which like that's definitely the tier. Like after is Allen Robinson, and that's definitely a whole another tier below. My thing is, I would like to go running back here because I know my next pick, the best running back, like Drake's. If I don't pick him, Drake's gonna be gone. Sanders is gonna be gone most likely. Jacobs is gonna be gone. Fournette's gonna be gone. And if Todd Gurley, I'm not like I don't like him that much. He worries me too much for my RB2. Um, and I just think there'll be more value left at receiver for me.
I agree 100%. This is as with every year.
So I think right now it comes down to Drake or Sanders, and like if we could know that Miles Sanders is gonna be alone, like I would, it'd be a lot closer for me. But well, I'll give you the nod because I'm interested to see what plays out because like if Miles Sanders is the workhorse back, like and he's getting all those receiving um targets, like he's just gonna be a PPR monster, and this is full PPR, and he has like less I think offensive competition than Kenny and Drake too. So I'm happy with going with Miles Sanders here as
I
well.
think Miles Sanders has a good shot at outplaying Drake, even with Carlos Hyde or another player coming in.
All right, so next pick is 34, I believe. Yeah, see exactly what I said. The next best would be Todd Gurley. That's why I'm glad we went running back there for sure. We can go look at the draft board. So after Miles, we see a pretty even, decently even mix. More receivers go than running backs, but after we took Miles, Julio went, which he should. Fournette, Godwin, Drake, Robinson, Josh Jacobs, Evans, Beckham, DJ Moore. And then you see our tight ends go back to back, which kind of surprised Travis went that late. Um, and then wow, see this is a little iffy because like this isn't gonna happen in 99% of leagues. Dak's not gonna be the first quarterback taken.
And he's not going in the third
Yeah,
round.
so we gotta kind of play it. We're gonna work the best we can, but um, so here unless I'm not in this position at 34, like if there's not a running back I'm really high on, I'm fine with going receiver because I need to get receiver depth. So let's go look at our cheat sheet. I would love to get DJ Moore at 34. He'll be there in some leagues, but he's a little higher, and I know like ESPN's rankings. So I wouldn't count on him being at 34 if you're drafting him at 10. But for me, that's my best case scenario receiver. Um, for me at this pick, it would be between Jonathan Taylor because of his massive upside. If something happens to Mac, I would have three absolute beasts of running backs, three top 12 running backs, I would think. And then when I'm looking at receiver, at this point for me, honestly, because DJ Moore's gone, OBJ's gone, I think I might go Jonathan Taylor here just because of his massive upside. If he blows up, you still have two other running backs. You could potentially trade for two other top receivers. I think I like Taylor at this pick because of his upside, and because I think he'll eventually take the reins sooner than later.
Personally, if I'm going running back, I would take both of the players for. I have a player for running back or wide receiver that I would take, and I think I would take both of them easily over Jonathan Taylor. If I'm going running back, I'm going David Johnson for sure, and if I'm going wide receiver, I'm going with my boy Robert Woods for sure. I like Robert Woods a lot better than all the rest of the guys left, and I love David Johnson a lot better than all the guys left on that side as well.
See what I'm thinking, but we have 34 right now, and then we go to 39. I think we have a much better chance of taking Taylor now and Woods being left than if we were to take Woods now.
I know that's why I was saying if we're going running back, I would go David Johnson then Woods at 39. But I don't care. We
See,
can
but
go.
my thing about that is we already have two solid running backs that we're gonna be playing every week, and Jonathan Taylor's upside I think is way more than David Johnson's.
This year, I
Yeah.
don't agree.
If he gets the starting role,
I still don't think no,
how?
because I
I'm
don't think
curious.
because I think that even with the starting role, I don't think that they're just gonna fade out Mac, and I think that Naheem Rolls is what maybe I think he's gonna retain his receiving role, and even if he doesn't retain it, he's still gonna be getting a lot of targets. He won't receive more than David Johnson, and if he got the workhorse role, he'd probably out carry him. But David Johnson's competition is Duke Johnson and nothing, whereas uh, Taylor still has Mac, which okay, but then Naheem Hines, who's not going to take that much, but he's still going to take a couple. I think there's more competition, more opportunity for touchdowns on David Johnson's side, and definitely more receiving work on his side. So that's why I like him a whole lot more. And I think even if Taylor took the starting role this year, he would take a lot of the rushing work, but I still don't see him blossoming into a big time receiver. Maybe next year in a big upstick, but rookie season taking the workhorse role, I still don't think he's going to be outpacing David Johnson on a touches per game basis.
So I guess maybe we could say David Johnson is a safer pick just because we know his role immediately is going to be bigger. It's just for me, I guess I'm not as high on what
David
they're
Johnson.
calling, not even that, what they're calling Mac and Jonathan Taylor to be a 1-1 punch. Like I guess I think that sooner than later he's gonna obtain the role. Like I know you don't think he's gonna fade Mac, and Mac's still gonna be relevant, but the Colts want to run the ball. They have arguably definitely top three offensive line in the league. Um, and if Jonathan Taylor can get anything, start getting anything in the passing game, um, like he could be monumental with Philip Rivers. But for this sake, we can go David Johnson.
No, we can no because we went with Miles Sanders on
Okay,
the.
you want to go Jonathan Taylor?
Well, we went Sanders on the one where he
Okay,
wanted
either
Drake,
way,
so-
we're getting a good running back. So I'd say at this point, our best bet would be to go with third running back, stockpile those running backs. It's your choice. We obviously have different opinions, but you can't go wrong. And I would say that your best bet here is to get another elite running back because they're not going to be there late in the draft like these receivers will. So we'll draft Jonathan Taylor. I agree. Robert Woods would be the receiver I want in that group. We're gonna see if he's still there. Beautiful. There we go. All right, let's go look at the draft board. So at pick 39, we see Robert Woods is still there. But before we take him, let's see who got picked. So after us went Juju, Higbee.
Okay.
Like that's another thing. Like he would be a tight end I would love to target 60s, 70s, 80s. But yeah, that's
30s, not so much.
Yeah, that's early. But Keenan Allen we see go at 37. Ertz at 38. I'm not very high on Ertz. I don't think I'm gonna have
Yeah.
really any shares.
I won't have any shares on Zach Ertz, especially with Dallas Goddard being there too.
I think Dallas Goddard. Yeah, I like Goddard a lot.
I like Goddard a lot more than Ertz, especially like
And
I could
Ertz-
see Goddard being on my team because at the price I could,
ADP, yeah.
I could get him so much lower than Ertz.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not too big on Ertz this year at all, especially if it's ADP. I'd much rather wait for a later tight end. But okay, here we're at 39, and so we got Mixon, Sanders, Jonathan Taylor, two definite studs right now, and Jonathan Taylor's upside could be huge. So we're pretty good on running back right now. We'll go back to the cheat sheet. So no way we're considering a quarterback right now. Looking at the running backs, I think we got to go receiver. We already got top three. Um, so the receivers I probably like the most right now available. I definitely like Woods. His touchdowns are gonna go way up, and that was really his own issue. AJ Brown, I like. Calvin Ridley, I like as well. Those three would probably be the receivers I would want right now. But I think we're in agreement. So we want to go Robert Woods.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell Robert Woods? Tell a little about Robert Woods.
Um, I'm one of the biggest hype men on Robert Woods heading into this season. And not even just in terms of real life football, but in terms of fantasy football, he's slept on and is looked at like way more people are gonna. Their biggest takeaway after last season was Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup. So I hope people bite on him before Robert Woods because Robert Woods quietly at the back half of the season, his last 7 games combined for a target share total of over 27%.
Yeah, and that high volume of passing offense.
And I was about to say, Jared Goff was tied with Jameis Winston for top in the league in pass attempts. So commanding the largest target share on a league that's leading the league in passing attempts, that's surefire. And if his touchdowns improve from upon the 2 to just 6, which isn't asking a lot, that's an improvement. And just keeping his target share above 23% in that offense would be a stud.
And another thing about Cooper Cup is when the Rams in the back half of the season they switched to 12-man personnel with 2 tight ends, which puts Cup on the outside, his stat line just crumbled.
Especially because in that, with what you said with the tight end set, that they moved to Tyler Higbee being a bigger guy in the offense. So it was more Woods and then Higbee with Cup helping up instead of Cup and Woods with either their Gerald Everett, Higbee, or Cooks, who was ever third. But now we saw Cup get that third fiddle role.
And one last thing about it is Cup's had 10 touchdowns last year. Robert Woods had 2 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. Both of those are going to change. The margin is going to be much closer. We don't know for sure who's going to win it, but Cooper Cup is not catching 10 touchdowns again, and Robert Woods is catching way more than 2 touchdowns. So here we're going to go with Robert Woods. We like him more than the other receivers. Thielen's safe pick, but
coming in at second for me here too would be my guy Calvin Ridley, but I'm definitely on.
I'm hoping
it'd be get Calvin Ridley.
Best case scenario, Calvin Ridley's next pick. We're gonna see though. We're gonna take Woods because
or even if David Johnson fell there.
Yeah, see that's another thing. Yeah. I think it really depends your league. We don't know whether Jonathan Taylor's gonna go before David Johnson or not. Oh, we just missed Calvin Ridley. But David Johnson is still there. So before we make a pick, let's go to our draft board.
I know we have 3 running backs, and I know we only have 1, which I consider stud receiver. But value alone, I'm still taking David Johnson here. And then at the very least, I'm trading one of my running backs and getting another stud wide receiver because David Johnson at this price is too much for me to pass up. I mean,
at 58.
I was gonna say I would have been fine with taking him at the price that we got Jonathan Taylor, and here we are getting him here. So I'm a value guy. I'm not passing.
This is another thing where knowing your league comes in handy. Like if you know people, some people need to have a history of drafting rookie backs. Then Taylor most likely will go before David Johnson. But if you know some people in your league are high on David Johnson, like they have been in the past, they like him as a player, they're more typical to take him earlier. So knowing your league is a big part in your draft strategy. But so we got Woods at, I believe, 36, 37, 39. Chris Carson went after. So we see more receivers go. Mark Andrews went. Thielen, Cup, Sutton, Singletary. A.J. Brown went. He's another guy we like. I didn't expect him to be here, so that's okay. Le'Veon went. Then we see a big run on receivers. Landry, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Parker, DJ Chark, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, Julian Edelman, T.Y. Hilton. So best case scenario, we would have wanted Ridley to get here, but we didn't. So before we go, we're gonna take a look at our receivers. So at this point, like McLaurin, he's gonna get a huge target share in Washington. We don't know about his quarterback play though. Dwayne Haskins pretty bad last year. AJ Green, he could be great if we know he's going to be the one receiver.
That's what I'm saying. Tyler Boyd or I think AJ Green or Tyler Boyd would be my pick here. But at the same time, because of the uncertainty of who's going to be the number one guy there, I I think I might just avoid it just because I'd be very upset to draft AJ Green and then have Tyler Boyd fill that role or vice versa. So maybe even Terry McLaurin just because we know he's like I know the offense isn't pretty and the quarterback's not that nice, but he's going to get a large target share. He was one of the best rookies last year with that what he had, and I definitely think there's a lot of room for improvement there. So
I think he had the best contested catch rate.
there you are.
Or his top, yeah.
That doesn't shock me.
So for me, I think we're gonna go running back here. But if you were to go receiver, you feel safer getting your second receiver there. That's completely fine. If I was to go receiver, I think I would go Metcalf or Debo.
Really?
DK Metcalf for me, as a rookie, saw over 100 targets. He's in an offense where it's pretty much him and Lockett competing. The Seahawks, they're gonna run the ball a lot. I get that. I think DK Metcalf, like his build, he's so athletic. When Russell throws him, he goes up and gets it. I think his receptions are just gonna like his stats from last year are gonna go up. I think he's a safe pick. So that's why I like him. Debo, I like his back half of the year was great. He had a pretty solid target share, and his efficiency was so much better. Like he had another tale of two seasons. His back half was much better. Um, I don't think the 49ers are going to run the ball as much as they did last year. I think it's going to be very run heavy, but I don't know. I think it'd be hard to replicate as much as they ran the ball.
Especially with teams now planning for it this year.
Yeah, they lost Matt Breida.
But they're getting
They're getting Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
He's more of a passing
specialist.
And I don't know how much they're gonna keep leaning on Raheem Mostert, but
They still have Kevin Coleman and
yeah, they do.
They still have Jeff Wilson though as well.
I'm not positive on that.
They have a lot of.
But yeah, I like Debo there as well. But I think we're in agreement. There's so many receivers later to a point where we can just keep pounding them. But now to get another back here, and it's important because this late to get a running back of David Johnson that we know is going to get the load of the touches, could be a bell cow back.
And at this late too,
Yeah,
he's one of the only guys left here that we know is like a 3-down back.
yeah. Right now, this is a value pick, so I think this is a very good decision because I don't want to go quarterback yet because that's so deep. Tight end so deep. So I think we're gonna go David Johnson. So right now we have 4 great running backs. This is one of the best starts we could have had for running backs. Our next pick is 63, so we're going to look at the draft board. And look, most of the receivers are still there, so I think that was a good pick. But looking at the draft board, after we took David Johnson, Mark Ingram, AJ Green, Russell, then DK we saw go. See, the thing about Mark Ingram is I'm not touching him. I'm fading him, I think, in all leagues. His touchdown regression is going to happen. It's unsustainable. He's not scoring that many again. I don't think the Ravens are going to be winning by as much as they were last year. I think they're going to have to pass the ball more. And I like J.K. Dobbins. They're going to see what they have in him. He's much better coming off the run play option, which Lamar, that's his game. So yeah, I would not touch him there. But we saw Gringo, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf. So we're gonna go look at the board. This is where we most likely are gonna get a receiver, unless there's somebody we really see that we like. Running back wise, we don't need to go another one unless there was somebody we really high on. Like, if I was to go running back here, it would be Kareem Hunt. Just because his upside and his worst case scenario is you can plug him in your flex every day. But if something happened to Nick Chubb, he misses a couple games here and there, he's a plug-in top 5 back. But we already have so many. I think we're gonna go receiver here.
Okay, that sounds about right. For me, I'm going McLaurin or Boyd. Yeah.
Which one do you like more? Which one would you pick? Because I'm fine with either.
And obviously, this is all subject to change with how Cincinnati's offseason is going to go, and then how like the reports are going to come out. We'll have a better idea of who's going to be what in the receiving game for the Bengals. But as of right now, just because of that uncertainty, I guess I would go McLaurin just because we know he's their guy.
He's a bona fide one. His target
And
share is immense.
One of the downsides of him is that there's no other people on that offense to really divert their attention. So he is going to get the top attention from the defense. But last season we saw he fared well against the top competition from the defense.
He did very well in his rookie year. He's only going to take a step up. So yeah, I'm very fine with taking Terry McLaurin here. He's going to get a boatload of targets. I think he's a decently safe pick. We already stockpiled on running backs. So we're going to go McLaurin here. I like that. I like that value too. I think that's a pretty good pick for where we're at. So we have to wait a little to our next pick. I think it's 82. Yeah. So here we're going to see it's pretty even actually between the positions that we're taking. So let's go look at the draft board before we decide, see who's taken. So after we took McLaurin, yeah, pretty even. James Conner, with that Pittsburgh's just kind of iffy, but he could be a real steal. But Brown, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, see some quarterbacks go. Swift, Hunter Henry, Kareem Hunt, Michelle, Christian Kirk, Cam Akers, Josh Allen, Debo, Brady, Boyd, Fuller, Gallup. So we see a little run on quarterbacks. Let's go look at who's left. I still don't think I would go quarterback here. I just don't think it's worth it for how much value we can get later. So let's see who is left for us. So if we were to go running back again, there's still some decent picks. Like David Montgomery. Here's the thing about David Montgomery. He's on such a bad offense, but he's going to get a very heavy workload. And I don't think that offense is going to get worse than it was last year. I'm hoping to see David Montgomery take a step up. I'm not too high on him, but like if I could get him as my 5th running back and he just pans out even to what he hopefully can be, he could be a really good trade bait, especially if you're lacking receiver. And if he blows up, then you have another just stud. But I'm going to look at the receivers. Do you see any receivers that stand out?
Well, in terms of where we're at on our own draft board, I don't see any like David Montgomery, and Raheem Mostert for me at this price aren't enough like value. So I would really just be looking at the fact that we only have 2 wide receivers, and aside from Robert Woods, Terry McLaurin in my eyes isn't exactly a stud. So I would be just looking because there's still a great crop of wide receivers that are available here.
Yeah, there is.
So for me, I'm pretty much not buying in on Marquise Brown anywhere, just because I don't think that Lamar throws the ball enough, and with that, unless he assumed a 25% plus target share, he's not going to get me enough value to what I'd be okay with. So I'm not about him. I'm looking more at the Texans offense and the Giants offense, because the Giants offense, it will be top 10, could even push for top 5 in terms of passing in the league. They're going to have a shitty defense, so they're going to need a lot of offense to stay in games, and that means wide receiver play. I know Deshaun doesn't throw the ball as much as the Giants will, but there's the obvious elephant in the room of D-Hop missing, and I know someone's not going to be him, but someone's got to fill in and take that number 1 role. So there's a good chance that Brandon Cooks may just be that guy, that because we don't know if Will Fuller could play full season, and even then, Brandon Cooks. Will Fuller's got him on speed, but I still think all around Brandon Cooks is a much better player. So
yeah, I like Brandon Cooks here. Like you said, he's gonna get targets. His only real competition is Fuller. I know Randall Cobb's coming in. I don't expect him to do too much. And what we could see is when Brandon Cooks was in New Orleans, we could see another thing where he is a much bigger role than he did on the Rams. He could get a career high in targets as he set that mark in New Orleans, and he was a decent receiver. Listen, I think this is a good value for what he could be in the Texans offense. Like you said, there's going to be games and plays where Deshaun's just taking out his legs, but that's for a lot of teams. And looking at these receivers, yeah, I'm not too big on Marquise Brown either, for reasons you said. I do like Shepard. A high volume offense, has some competition, but I like him there. I do like Jameson Crowder here because he's like I like to call him like the PPR king because he really gets peppered with targets from Darnold, but I don't know how much he will this year with the addition of Denzel Mims, Rashad
who used to
Perryman.
be a first round pick, is still young.
Yeah. Looking at these other receivers, I like Deontay Johnson a lot. I think we can wait and get him later, so I'll hold off on that. But I think I'm happy with going to Brandon Cooks here.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right, we'll go Cooks here. Yeah, because we pick at 87, so. Matt Ryan, C. Dave Montgomery. Keyshawn Vaughn went. Keyshawn Vaughn's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
You don't know totally how much Ronald Jones and him are going to split the workload. But so here.
Where do they have Keyshawn Vaughn in their big board? Because he wasn't even in the top 5.
Yeah, I'm not positive. But so we have 3 wide receivers at this point, 4 running backs. I still don't think we're gonna go quarterback because I'm not huge on Breeze. Just I don't think he's gonna throw the ball that much.
At this point, I'm just waiting for Stafford.
Yeah, I like Stafford and Daniel Jones a lot, so I think we can fade that position for now and wait. Tight end.
And for me, all the tight ends, especially in this draft, we may be able to in a real league draft get a good tight end at this price, but the way that this draft went, I'm not buying Evan Ingram, Hooper, Cook, or Fant, or any of the guys left at the board at this price. I'm just waiting on that position.
Definitely, if I was a guy who really wanted to take a tight end right now, to feel safe about it, I wouldn't mind taking Ingram right here. If he stays healthy, high passing volume offense, he could be really good. He could be steady, but I don't think I'm going to take tight end. But if I was, I think I'd be okay with Ingram because Hooper I'm fading. Just too much competition. He's not going to get nearly the target share he got in Atlanta.
I'm almost fading Ingram now too, though, just because I feel like the Giants' offense may be steering away from his utilization. Just not even just because the change of Eli, but maybe the change of the look of their offense. He hasn't played a full season since he's been in the league, and even then, like last season, he wasn't. Obviously, he wasn't Kittle and he wasn't Kelsey, but he wasn't even like Ertz for the most part. He had a couple good games there, but like for the most part, I was just hoping that he'd get me 10 or 11 points.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that too, the Giants tried to put him on the trade block around the time of the NFL draft. So that's kind of like it's not a for sure this guy's going to be useless next season because they're going to have him, they're going to use him. But the fact that they want to get rid of him kind of means that they're not looking to build the offense around him in any facet.
Okay, so running backs here are kind of interesting. Raheem Mostert, I kind of do like.
I do like him as well.
And the other running back I like here, if I was to take one, is just Darius Geis worries me that they drafted Antonio Gibson. He's always worried about his health. I'm kind of interested in Matt Breida and Jordan Howard.
I would wait though.
Yeah, I don't think I would take him now, but a little bit later. Just because Jordan Howard's proven when he can get a bulk load of carries, he can be a consistent running back too. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know how exactly that's going to play out. But I think for right now, for me, it's between drafting Raheem Mostert. And honestly, I think I would draft Raheem Mostert because if I knew I could wait and get Deontay Johnson, I would draft Raheem Mostert. But because we don't pick again because of the swing, I might take Deontay Johnson here over any of these receivers, in my opinion.
Really?
Because Deontay Johnson, as a rookie, he led the Steelers, which isn't much considering Juju played 12 games. But his quarterbacks are abysmal. He's a very good route runner, led the league in separation yards, actually. And with Big Ben back, I actually saw a video today. Did you see it of Big Ben throwing to Juju?
I did.
He actually
'Cause
shaved his
Bob
beard and
Dove,
hair.
I'm
Yeah.
shaving the beard. Yeah.
Because I still have faith in Big Ben. Like Big Ben finished 2018, led the league in yards. If Big Ben, I think, can be 80, 85% of what he was, I think that passing offense can be very valuable. And I think the targets are really just going to be between Deontay Johnson and Juju. You put Juju back in the slot. So I like them both, but if like it's just more of a matter of if Big Ben's gonna be Big Ben. But I think unless do you see like what receiver would you pick right now, or would you go Raheem Mostert?
The receiver that I would go for now, if I was going for receiver, would be
Shepard.
Shepard.
So if you're in this position right now, right? We have 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers. We don't want to go tight end. Would you take Mostert or Shepard here? I think I would go.
If I'm drafting Mostert, it would really just be for trade bait.
Yeah, because
honestly, I like the fact that as of right now, like it's amazing that the although it makes sense when you think about it, the league leader in rushing last year, they're the first running back off the board in terms of fantasy. What pick is this?
This is pick 87.
All the way at pick 87, the first back from the offense that's top in the league in rushing, all the way this low is incredible. But the reason for that is because of the way that they split the work. It's just such a thing of Raheem Mostert looks so beautiful.
Who's going to be
now.
the guy this week? Who's
gonna be the guy that's what I'm saying. It could be the biggest steal in the draft if you have their top guy, but then at the same time, I can never Raheem Mostert and then see him leave and go to my bench week 3 and then never go to.
Shanahan seems to be committed to that by committee approach.
So I might just, because my running backs are so good and I still have room to trade and like use them as trade bait because I have 4 great ones there, I think I would go Shepard. I have a stud in Woods, and then at my wide receiver 2, I could just not even stream because I won't have to do it, but then I'd have my pick of the litter of Cooks, Shepard, and McLaurin pending matchup who I want to start or injury, and I like that depth at it.
All right, so we're gonna go Sterling Shepard, and we've not like him and all his star players. They've never been on the field together for like in a single game. So I mean, who knows what we're gonna see in the Giants' offense? I expect them to be better. Expect Daniel Jones to take a leap up. Drafting Andrew Thomas is gonna give him more time, more confidence. So I do like some of the Giants receivers. So let's take Shepard. All right, so then we go to pick 106. So at this point, let's see who goes. Did I just see Antonio Brown?
No way.
I think I just saw Antonio Brown. Am I
Jim Peterson?
Am I tripping? No, Antonio Brown.
What?
See, that's on the. If someone in your league takes Antonio Brown, send me a picture, please. I would love to see that. Yeah, that's crazy though. That's not gonna happen, but most likely. But it's alright. We'll roll with it. That's just funny. All right. So after we take Shepard, we see Tariq. Ignore Brown. Mac could be good that late, just because if he even half the season splits those carries, he's a decent running back. We've seen him put up those numbers. Great offensive line. Who knows? But all right, we see some more running backs, receivers go. All right, so here we are at pick 106. Let's see who's there. So we're pretty even now. 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. So at this point, like, see even now, Ingram's still there. I wouldn't expect. Don't count on him to be this late on your draft day. But I think at this point, like, I still don't want to go quarterback because I think we can wait because we're both really big on Stafford. We'll talk about him when we get him. But I think at this point, Deontay Johnson-Taylor, I would go Deontay Johnson.
That's fine by me. Although,
I already gave my spiel. Like, he's the wide receiver. I mean, who knows? Wide receiver 1, maybe wide receiver 2, definitely. I expect Big Ben to be back. I expect that passing offense to be not as much as it was in 2018 because it was crazy, but back to what it kind of was with Big Ben back at the helm. So I do like Deontay Johnson here. Very polished route runner. So I'm going to take him here. I think his value could be very good for this position. Like in the hundreds, I think that's great for Deontay Johnson. So you saw we stockpiled running backs earlier, and I feel like we have decent depth at wide receiver, and I'm happy with that now. So this makes me feel more comfortable how we stockpiled running backs. Pick 111, like Evan Ingram's still there.
At this point, I might just get him.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm gonna get Ingram because I think he's at another tier besides all these other receiver or other tight ends. So I think we're gonna draft Ingram here for sure. All right, fill that tight end spot. So now we don't pick to 130. Yeah, see, we see some of the tight ends went, so I think that was a good thing we got Ingram. See wide receivers go, some more quarterbacks. So I think we could like even Breeze is there, and like I'm not too high on him. I don't think he's pass the ball that much. My reason being, but all right, let's look at the draft board real quick. At this point, so for me, I think
Yeah, they had Hayden Hurst go.
Yeah, see, I like Hayden Hurst a lot for like a late tight end because I think he's going way too late when he's stepping into that Atlanta offense. Like if I could have known we could have waited around and got Hayden Hurst for sure, I might have done it because he's stepping into what Hooper was. They have plenty of targets to go around. Hayden Hurst is not a bad like tight end in any means.
He was a first round pick.
Yeah. And he's going into that passing heavy offense, and their defense is not very good. They're still gonna be passing the ball a lot. I think his tight end value is absurdly low for what he could be.
He definitely won't be at Austin Hooper, but at the price that you can get him, he'll be a lot better than all the other dudes there.
And you don't even need him to be Austin Hooper.
Nearly what Austin Hooper was. A guy that you can just throw in there that like, at the very least get me just 10 points from a tight end spot if you're on a bye week, and or even if you have shit like if I waited all the way to the end to draft my tight end and he just got me 10 points every week, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I would too, definitely. Because then we have so many role players where if we desperately need a tight end, we could definitely make it happen. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go back to the cheat sheet. We're going to see. So at this point, I think what I would do is let me look at these receivers real quick. I don't believe I'm too high on any of these right now because I feel like some of them will be at our later pick for sure because we have I think we pick at 135. So I think at this point it would be between Stafford because I think it wouldn't matter because I think we're going to get both the players we want. But I think here it's between Tony Pollard and Matthew Stafford. I think I would go Tony Pollard because I think we have a better chance of Stafford being there. And reason being Pollard, because I'm not really high on any of these other running backs left. Like maybe Zach Moss, if something happened to Devin Singletary, he could step in and get like a lot of goal line work. But these other running backs right now I'm not too high on, and Tony Pollard is, especially you can get him for the Zeke handcuff. Just to whoever has Zeke, use him as trade bait, or if something happened to Zeke, Tony Pollard steps in. He's a top 8 running back.
I could be wrong, but I believe Tony Pollard alone with Zeke playing all the games, I still think there was 3 games I believe where Tony Pollard had 18 or more points.
Really?
Yeah, just off of so if they're
he's in such an explosive offense.
I was gonna say if you have Tony Pollard and the like for instance, and it was always against teams that were like so horrible, like the Dolphins or the Redskins, like stuff like that or whatever, that if you have someone like Tony Pollard and the Cowboys are going against that team, what they did was they got ahead of them so early that they just took Zeke out for like a good portion of the back end, and then they were just feeding Pollard.
And like who's to say the Cowboys aren't like 5 games above 500 and they want to give Zeke some rest. And that's come fantasy playoff times around there. And you could have a real stud, like in a great offense. So I like Tony Pollard here a lot. I don't really see anybody else that really attracts me because I think we can get Stafford at our next pick.
I do like Coleman just for the fact that he could be Raheem Mostert, like he could be the lead guy. And I do like Nyheim Hines just because we know Phillip Rivers with his history with Danny Woodhead, Melvin Gordon, and Austin Eckler that he feeds the receiving back, and if it's Hines, he could just see himself in a Danny Woodhead or Austin Eckler type role, even though obviously Austin Eckler's role last year was not it.
So are we cool with going Pollard here?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we're going to take Pollard here, get yet another running back. Like I said, he could be great for you later in the season or even just whenever, and if you could trade him to the Zeke guy who wants him as a handcuff, use him as potential bait. So hopefully Stafford doesn't get taken. I don't think he will. I don't think he did. Yes. See, Breeze got taken, which I would much rather have Stafford than I would Breeze.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
think I think some do, but most people don't realize just how great Stafford was in the 8 games he played last year.
He was top 5 fantasy QB.
Averaged over 20 points.
Yeah.
So right now we need a quarterback. Stafford I think is easily the best option. So we're gonna go Stafford here. Like if you don't have Stafford, go look at his stats in the 8 games he played last year. People worried about Darren Bevel coming in. It was going to be a run-heavy offense, but we really didn't see that. And Stafford really had the best 8-game start in his career. Like he was playing out of his mind.
And the Lions still believe that he's in his prime as it is right now.
Yeah, I think Stafford still wants to play there. So we took Stafford. We don't pick again until 154. So we see some more quarterbacks come off the board. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to get what we have with Stafford that late. I'm very happy. And if I didn't get Stafford in that situation, or if I would have loved to gotten Daniel Jones as my backup. Like I don't know if I would have taken him now, but I don't think we're in the right position to get him, but that's okay. So let's just go look at the draft board real quick.
And this is our what pick?
We're at 154.
So this is like 14 and 15.
This is our 15th pick. So we got 2 more picks. I really like the start to our team, or what our team's coming to.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's our 15th. So that'll be our 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, this is only 13, yeah. 14. Okay, whatever. So this is our 13th. 13th. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm very comfortable with having Matthew Stafford as my starting quarterback. Like very, very comfortable.
I agree.
Okay, so after we took Stafford, we see some more running backs go. Ruggs that late could be good on that offense. If the only thing that worries me is Derek Carr doesn't throw down the field that often, but Ruggs is a great receiver and he's in position to get a good amount of targets.
That's not all true either, too, because in the past years where they had Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, they were still getting. Sometimes they'd sling it. He likes the more.
It's interesting. He didn't have that many times, but he was one of the most
efficient.
Accurate.
He had over 70% completion percentage, and in the games that Terrell Williams was the lead guy, he looked like he would like. I remember at one point early in the season when Terrell Williams started the season, had a couple good games. I'm like, wow, is this guy really going to be that big of a steal this late? And I honestly would be fine with taking Ruggs in like as early as like the 10th round. I feel like he was not only the first wide receiver taken off the board, but like there's like I know like they're such a great class with CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy, but all three of those top guys.
He has the less competition out of all of them, I think.
That
in receiving
that he has a quarterback that is good with precision, and then also the fact that they took Ruggs over Lamb, Aaron, Jerry Jeudy leads me to believe that they really love Ruggs. It's not like it was just they were like other teams that were happy to just get a guy. They wanted Ruggs. They want to use Ruggs. And besides Josh Jacobs, they're looking for focal points in that offense. And could he be that Amari Cooper type guy in his first year and get over 1,000 yards receiving? I think that's
both from Bama. We will see. So here, obviously we're not going quarterback. So with our last 2 picks, or with our last pick, we'll go defense.
This is my last pick.
Yeah. So here it's just a matter of what player I think we like the most. Like if we didn't get Ingram, if we were to get one of those later ones, like I wouldn't mind taking another backup tight end, like T.J. Hawkinson. Like, I mean, I remember week 1, like he had played outstanding. He had over 100 yards, touchdown. Like he looked like great right off the bat. And with a healthy Stafford, and he wasn't healthy himself. I mean, he was very banged up. So, and I think he's stepping into a good offense with a great quarterback. He's going to get the ball. So I wouldn't mind taking Hawkinson here as a flyer if I didn't already take Ingram. But so at this point, it's what player we want the most.
With me, T.J. Hawkinson, when I hear a tight end in the first round and the hype that was surrounding him, and then especially after week 1, it was like, oh my God, like, and especially this is so low that getting him now isn't even like, oh, it's not a risky pick. You just that late round flyers. The thing that immediately just makes me just throw TJ to the side is the fact that the Lions also drafted a guy named Eric Ebron in the first round, and that didn't really turn out to anything what anyone wanted. So I just feel like he could be another Eric Ebron that's just people draft every year, and then he ends up on waivers just because it's always Eric Ebron's pissing me off.
All right, but so like I said, basically we're going best player we like at this point. Um,
Which for me, I'm going like I know we missed. We have David Johnson, Miles Sanders, and uh, Joe Mixon. So for me, I would at this point in my draft be going for handcuffs for my running backs. Boston Scott's already gone, although like I said, Miles Sanders is most likely going to have a second
I know where
understudy.
you're going.
So I'm going Gio Bernard for Joe Mixon. Gio Bernard is a beautiful handcuff to have. He's a decent back, one of the best like second string backs. And I've had Mixon on my team in the past, and Mixon had gone down for like 2 weeks, and in those weeks Giovanni stepped up and gave me 20 balls both of those games. So he can catch the ball, he can run it, and if missed time from Mixon, great to have.
Yeah, great handcuff, safety net. If something happens to Mixon, if he holds out, God forbid, he's stepping into what should be a much higher power offense. So yeah, I like taking a safe pick here, a handcuff.
Getting handcuffs just offers a peace of mind because the quickest way to foil and ruin a season is by one of the first couple players you draft and just going down with an injury, and then you're SOL. But if you have a second string, though it's not the same as having Joe Mixon, at least having the lead running back in that offense that's decent, I mean, that's the only way to save it, I guess.
So last pick, we're gonna go our defense, obviously, and best one's Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's defense is great. Like last year, that half they were phenomenal.
Feeling Bills.
Minka played out of his mind. So what would you pick here? I'm just curious. You think you pick Bills? I think I would take Pittsburgh, but what would you pick?
I think I'm taking Bills.
Bills?
Is this our last pick?
Yeah.
I thought we had two more.
No. I did. It happened. So.
Then yeah, no. I feel like in another league that it wouldn't be all the top defenses left. So I would have been looking deeper, but yeah, no, I think I'd be going Bills.
All right. I feel like I go Steelers, and because I want a better grade at the end, they have them ranked higher, so I think I'm gonna go Steelers.
Oh yeah, no. That's fair.
All right, we're gonna go Steelers defense. Really, like Steelers defenses are so hard to predict, so it's whatever. We'll take them. Grade doesn't matter, but we're gonna see what we get in a second. Hopefully they'll give us something decent, but grades really don't matter because they can't predict it. So yeah, we got a B minus, but like we're gonna go look over our team. Stafford, I will take Stafford as my starting quarterback if I can get this deep of a roster every time. Mixon, Sanders, Jonathan Taylor, David Johnson, like those four running backs. If you have four that solid running backs, Joe Mixon's getting workhorse. Miles Sanders is a workhorse. Jonathan Taylor could be a great upside workhorse on one of the best offensive lines. David Johnson gonna be a workhorse, and if he can work in the passing game with Deshaun, he could be a PPR monster as we've seen him in the past. And for Tony Pollard as our fifth, who could happen, he's one of the best offensive. If somebody goes down to Zeke, or you can use the bait. I love our running backs here.
This team, I think, would have a much higher grade too. A lot of the picks or some of the picks you made were just value picks. There's so much trade bait on this bench that you could easily trade 3 of those players and get like 2 more starters and have an A+ grade for show.
And wide receivers, Woods is gonna be like he's being undervalued right now, insanely. He's gonna be way better than he's right now. McLaurin, I'm okay with him being my wide receiver too. His target share is gonna be immense. It really just comes down to his quarterback play, but I think Dwayne Haskins can take a step up. Terry McLaurin's phenomenal receiver. Brandon Cooks, we already went over him. Deontay Johnson, I've already told you how much I love him and what he could be, and that's his offense. Sterling Shepard, I will take a Giants receiver on my roster, whether it's him or Slayton. I'd love to have him. And Evan Ingram as our tight end for where we got him. That was a value pick. On a Giants offense, you're going to be throwing the ball a lot. We've seen Ingram shine when he's healthy. So, yeah, this team, I like it a lot. We have a lot of value, a lot of trade bait. Our running backs are stacked, which you will want to do, believe me.
Come mid-season time, everyone's looking for a running back trade.
If you want to win your league, stockpile running backs. I'm telling you. But that's going to do it for our episode today. Thank you for listening. Tune in for another one soon, and thank you guys.